Today we're going to talk about validating our teens even when we think we shouldn't. Hi, I'm Lindsay Law, Certified Youth Life Coach at Youth Rising. And today I really want to bring out this topic of validating our kids when they say things that we think, oh, I can't validate that because that's just a really unhelpful thought. When it comes to validation, I just really want to remind you guys that validating doesn't mean that we agree with what our kids are thinking or feeling. It means that we're letting them know and communicating to them that they are seen and heard. And if you want a little bit more on validation, check out my other video in the link above here. We're going to get right into talking about what some of these thoughts or things that our kids say may be more difficult for you to validate. All right, so here's a few statements that you may have heard from your kids. I hate myself. I wish I was never born. I wish I was in a different family. Nobody likes me. I mean, I'm sure you could come up with a huge list of things your kids have said that your automatic reaction from your brain is, no, don't say that. That's not a good thought. And we kind of just shut down any kind of connection or curiosity when we tell our kids that the thought they're thinking isn't good and they should stop thinking it. The thing is, when our kids say things like this, it's usually a response to something going on in their life, something that maybe they need help with from you. It's super important for us to not shut down these opportunities. The other problem with not validating these thoughts is that we are dismissing what our kids are experiencing. And so we may be sending the message that they are not accepted by us. And when they feel that, they have a much harder time accepting and loving themselves. We want to help them see that whatever they're experiencing is going to be okay and that they're accepted by us. And the other problem with not validating these kinds of statements from our kids is that they may be less likely to come to us with these kinds of statements or concerns in their life because they're not feeling heard, they're not feeling seen, they're feeling dismissed. And so to create this safe place for our kids where they can come to us with anything that they're thinking and feeling is we need to send this message that anything they're thinking and feeling is okay and that we're there to help them and talk through it with them. Okay, friends, so I want to take you through some of these comments or statements that your kids might say and how you could possibly respond in a validating way. When your kid comes, or maybe they're not necessarily coming to you to say this, but they're just throughout their day and they're like, oh, I hate myself. Probably one of your more automatic responses in this situation would be like, no, you don't. Of course you don't hate yourself. That is very invalidating to our kids. So an option of something you could say is, I can tell that feels really real to you right now. Can you tell me more about it? And that, for one, says, hey, I see and hear what you're thinking. It's okay. I don't have a problem with it. And it opens up that invitation for them to really talk about what's going on for them. So maybe something happened at school, maybe there's something happening with their siblings, maybe they didn't do as well on a test as they wanted to. Usually there's something going on that is triggering or stimulating this type of a statement. And what they really want is to talk about it and to be able to share that with you and to see that what's happening in their life is okay. It's not a problem. And again, if we shut that down with like, no, you don't hate yourself. Come on. You're so fun. You're so loving. You're so wonderful. Again, they don't feel validated. They don't feel like what they wanted to share was important. And so they might just stop sharing and stop talking. This is why it's so important to create that connection and really understand what's going on for our teens. Another one is, I wish I was never born. Our automatic response might be to say, oh, come on, of course, we love you. We're so glad you're here. You're such an important part of our family. And as much as saying those things is not a problem, let's validate that emotion and explore with curiosity first. one way we can do this is by saying, hey, there must be something really big going on for you right now. Do you want to talk about it? And really opening that opportunity for them to tell us more about what's going on and saying, hey, like, there must be something happening for you right now. I can tell that this is upsetting, which lets them know that what's happening for them is okay. It's not a problem to feel and think these things. As we validate and get curious, we're more likely to come to a solution to be able to help our child through whatever is bothering them. The last one is nobody likes me. And again, our automatic response is like, oh, come on, but you've got Jennifer and Jacqueline and Arthur. You have so many great friends. Of course people like you. I like you. And we can give all this evidence how that sentence they're saying is just not true. But again, that's not validating. That's dismissing what they're experiencing. So one of the ways you could respond is, I've had that thought before. What's bringing that up for you right now? And again, one of the stages of validation is shared experience and saying, hey, like, that's a similar experience I've had. That's a similar thought or feeling I've had. And again, if it isn't, you don't need to lie, but it's one of the ways to validate what our kids are experiencing. And so if it is something that you've experienced, you can share that with them and ask for more information. And what that really helps do is help them see that the thoughts and feelings they're having are kind of normal in this human experience, that brains offer these thoughts, and that you may have had some of those same thoughts that your kids are having, and sharing that with them does not mean that they're going to think that these are good thoughts or that they're okay. It's saying, hey, I see you and I hear you. And I think that might be one of the worries as parents, is that if we validate these kinds of statements, that our kids will have more of them. But actually the opposite is true. If we dismiss them, don't address them, our kids will more likely go to these thoughts again. When we make sure that they know that they're accepted no matter what they're thinking and feeling, they are less likely to go to these self-damaging thoughts, these thoughts about how they're just not good enough. And that's why it's so important for us to be really intentional about what we're saying, because our brains naturally are going to run away from these kinds of statements or try and push them away, dismiss them, discount them. I hope that that really helps you in validating your teen and recognizing that even when they say things that we may see as harmful, validating them helps them move on from those thoughts, work through those thoughts, process them, find a solution. And again, all of these ways of responding open up further communication, curiosity, and an opportunity to connect with your teen. So I really hope that you found these ideas helpful. As parents, we're not going to be perfect. We're not going to perfectly validate our kids all the time. But as long as we're trying to do it as often as we can, that's what matters. And if you do have a teen that is having a lot of negative self-talk and is really struggling to see their value, that is what I do as a teen coach, is help them to look at these thoughts that they're having, accept themselves, and then choose new personal core beliefs to live their life by. Check out the link in the description below of how you can work with me and go and connect with your teens. Have an amazing day.